All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Professional Brotherhood podcast. And today I have Kara back on. Hey, Kara.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Great to be back.
When do I stop introducing you and just you say
I
hello?
feel like I should be introducing you at this point.
Okay, good. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that the next time.
But
but we do have a guest today, and we have Tara from Flame Decon on. And you guys, if you've been paying attention to my social media, you should have noticed I've been sharing some of the Flame Decon posts and a little bit of the story. Tara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind, if you could just introduce yourself, and then we'll get into the story of Flame.
Yeah, of course. I'm Tara. I'm the owner here at Flame Decon. I am also a fire sister. My brother is in the fire service, and I'm a veteran. And I also call myself a third grade level scientist after this launch of these products.
Awesome. So you have family in the fire service. You have military background, correct?
That's correct.
What branch of the service were you in?
So I was active duty Navy, and then served in a Marine Corps squadron as a civilian, and then also worked for the Army for a bit. So kind of all over the place, but I was active duty Navy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service. We definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
What prompted you to, so Kara and I were talking about this before you came on the show, and kind of one of the things that drew me to your social feed and just the product is, so, and I think I might have even mentioned this to you in a conversation at some point. So for years, coming home from a fire, right? Because I'm a volunteer, so as is Kara. So we're not typically going back to the station and cleaning up or whatever. We're typically going home, right? To clean up and go to work or whatever, go to family, whenever the job happens to hit. And I know for me personally over the years that, I've searched for something that would, forget the toxins and all the other stuff, just get the stench out, right? Just get rid of the smell of the fire from the night before or even the day before sometimes. So that kind of drew me to the product, because I've even said to myself, why hasn't somebody invented this yet? How come I'm using all different products, none of them are working, and how come I haven't found somebody that invented this yet? So tell us how'd you get here? How'd you find your way into doing this?
And please say it's because your brother smelled, because that's the best way ever to intro this as a sibling.
It's not, and that's so funny because that's what everybody focuses on. That's what everybody wants. Firefighters just want to not smell.
Yeah.
And when I take this approach, it's making sure, of course it gets rid of the stench, which is amazing. It gets rid of all these toxins too. But coming into this, one of the things that my brother and a close friend told me was, firefighters are told all the time at work and by the safety officer and beat over the head about cancer and all of that stuff. So I don't focus on cancer. I focus on wellness. I focus on what the products do. I focus on how these products can help you get rid of toxins. Because we know what causes that cancer. And if you can focus on getting rid of toxins, that's an important thing. But it's funny that you guys bring up the scent or the stench, because that's what everybody wants to get rid of. So
sure.
I definitely look at that. But going back to the question, what prompted this was about a year and a half ago, my mom and I actually launched a business together. Firemom.com is my other firefighter-focused business with my mom.
Okay.
And when we first launched, we launched as a gear and gifts store for firefighters and their families. And it was about 4 months in, and I was hitting social media every day and making some sales, but not making a lot of sales, but putting my heart and soul into it as far as my time, and just diving in time-wise, but not feeling like I was truly like giving in any way. I didn't feel like I was making an impact.
Okay.
And it was really frustrating. It got to the point where I was like, just a dramatic day in tears in my bed, like, what am I doing here? It was that frustrating. And so talked to one of the most important people in my life, and he just kind of leveled with me, and he was like, look, Tara, this is what you need to do. You need to change in, like, it was like crystal clear to him. And I was like, wait a second. You need to change your mission from gear and gifts to firefighter wellness. You love to help people. You love to, make that impact. That's what you need to do. And you could, carry firefighter wellness products and make an impact in that way. And so I thought about it for a few days, and I was like, yeah, you're right. That's what I need to do. That's what we're going to do. Talked it over with my mom. She thought it was a great idea. So that's what we did. And so in the process of doing that, I started looking at all the products that we carry, just in general, and wanted to make sure that we were really, turning that corner and carrying firefighter wellness products. So we got in some mental health books for firefighters and families. And looked, we were carrying fire wipes at the time, which we still carry. We were carrying a different activated charcoal soap. We were carrying just a couple of other products that have to do with decontamination and wellness. And so I was thinking, like, what's missing here? What do we need? And I was like, well, certainly firefighters aren't washing their hair with a bar of soap. Like, where's the shampoo? What are firefighters cleaning their hair and scalp with? Right. And I started looking, and there's really nothing out there that's truly made for firefighters. There's things that are made for firefighters in name, but there's nothing that was truly made for firefighters. And so that's really what sparked this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So then from there, I dug into the research.
Okay. And I'm completely naive when it comes to how you take something such as this and, start to research it and build it out to where it eventually, becomes a product. I would imagine you take an idea like, all right, maybe you said you were already dealing with some soaps that had activated charcoal in it. So you start there, I would think, and then you kind of build out from that point. That right? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing a softball there.
No, absolutely. And let me tell you about the research process, because it was pretty cool. So I did. I looked at activated charcoal. I looked up to make sure that was the right product one, and it is. Right. Activated charcoal is incredible at removing toxins. But that's what you can find out there, is that activated charcoal is great at moving toxins, and that it absorbs toxins, which means basically it clings to it. It has two ways that it can do that. It can do that physically, and it can do that like chemically. It can chemically bind to it too. Okay. And but as far as like what's out there for the general public is that they know that it is good at removing toxins, and it absorbs that process. But I was like, no, how does this really do this though? How does it really work? And I didn't stop until I had the answer. So I took 3 weeks, every single day for 3 weeks, like all day long, and just dug and dug and dug and dug until I found the answers I was looking for. I read scientific journals. I read all kinds of things on the manufacturers' websites that make activated charcoal. And once I found the answers, I verified, and then did my own experiments.
Gotcha.
So So basically what I found though was that, and I'll just kind of try to break it down simply, is that activated charcoal, it's made from different natural resources, like coconut, bamboo, hardwood. There's all kinds of different things that it's made of. And each of these things that it's made of, each one has its own characteristics. And the most important characteristic to focus on is its pore size. And the reason that the pore size is the most important is because you have to match the pore size of the activated charcoal with the molecule size of the toxin that you're trying to remove, or it won't remove it. So think kind of like Legos. Like if you have big Legos, it'll only stick to big Legos. If you have small Legos, they'll only stick to small Legos, right?
All right.
It's kind of like that. Or if you have a sponge with really small holes in it, and you set it down on something that, with a lot of different size toxins, it's only going to pick up the small toxins because it has really small holes. Mm-hmm. So that's what I found. And in this research, I was like, okay, well then how do you pick up all of them? Do you mix them? So I started researching that. And sure enough, if you want to remove different toxins, you have to match to the right size, pore size of activated charcoal. You have to match the right activated charcoal. So when you're dealing with firefighters and going into structure fire, or even there's some toxins you pick up on wildland as well, sure. You have to mix those charcoals in order to pick up a wide range of toxins. You want to pick up your small, medium, and large toxins, and make sure you're actually covering that range of molecule size to remove as many toxins as you possibly can with activated charcoal, and the rest of the things in the products that you're using.
So there's definitely a lot that goes into it for sure. Kara, go ahead. I see you were just about ready to say something and I jumped in. So
no, that's okay. So it seems that even there's been across like the marketplace for not just for firefighters, but there's been a return to looking for more natural based products from a lot of people. I think that people are focusing on that a little bit more. And I noticed that there is a lot of products that do offer activated charcoal as the number one ingredient, from everything from toothpaste to your products and face masks and things like that. Is it difficult to source the materials to get that because they're so popular, especially in light of the pandemic crisis? Has that been a challenge for you as a new business owner?
Sourcing the activated
owner, but as a new product line.
Absolutely. Sourcing activated charcool has not been. Surprisingly, sourcing bottles has been the most challenging thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
And now what is can you tell us a little bit about the line of products that you are offering for Flame Decon?
Yeah, absolutely. So first I have out right now the soap. And the soap is, it's natural soap. It has my proprietary blend of activated charcoal in it, which removes toxins of all sizes. And it has what I think is a really great scent that I came up with. That's a blend of different scents. Let me see, I've got some notes on it. Let me see if I've got anything else to tell you about this. It comes in, so I really wanted to make sure that not only was the product line great for, and meant for firefighters, from the base of the products, but also just from a usability standpoint. So every bar of soap comes in its own travel case as well. That's instantly resealable, and you can take a shower, seal it up, throw it in your bag if you need to, and go home or wherever you're going. So that's our soap as well.
Yeah.
And that's great. You touched on the wildfires. I bet with that portability and the ability to throw it in a rucksack and things like that, I think that that's a nice piece of it too, because as Brian pointed out, you know, we a lot of times get to go home to shower, or for your career, you might go back to the station to shower. If you're out fighting wildland, you can certainly be out for extended lengths of time, and to have something to get yourself cleaned up with that you can just seal up and carry around with you, I think would be probably highly desirable for those firefighters as well.
For sure, for sure. I'm actually, I'm not going to say too much about it, but I just this week started product development on a new product for wildland that I think is going to be so helpful for them. So
awesome.
We're going to concentrate on that.
Yeah, we'll definitely stay tuned for that.
So one of the things that I definitely wanted to, touch on a little bit, which probably if we were talking about this product even 2 years ago, right, it wouldn't, I don't think it would get as much exposure or buy-in, because in the last couple of years, cancers in the fire service have really been pushed out into the forefront. And there's a lot of studies that have gone into it, and a lot of time that goes into education and educating firefighters on, the importance of cleaning your gear, cleaning yourself up after a call, all these different things. So have you seen a lot more interest because of that? Do you think you're getting a lot more questions and more people looking for the product because of all of this?
I truly do. And so our 800 number on our website is set up so people can text me from that too. Mm-hmm. And I get texts actually from firefighters as well as their spouses. And it's probably an equal mix there. Just, telling me like, I've had these particular issues, or I've had, some autoimmune stuff. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. And they're like, I know it's from my job. I know it is. So it's really interesting, the awareness that's out there. Again, I make sure to focus on the wellness side of things, but it's great that this is so prominent in the firehouse, and that there are other organizations out there talking about the effects of cancer, so that people are taking care of themselves. I think that one product that we have coming out next, which I'm hoping to start pre-sales in the next week, mm-hmm. is our shampoo and body wash. And that one's just gonna be a game changer. I mean, we've had soaps out there, and I've got a soap out right now, but yep. That's the one that's gonna get your hair and scalp clean, get your whole body clean. Like, you can take that one bottle anywhere and get clean. It has our proprietary blend of activated charcoals. Everything else in it has been developed to work with that, so it doesn't stand in the way of the charcoals working. And it, you do polls out there. I've done polls as I've started just to see what people use, and sure. People are using body wash these days.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm ready for that product, and I think the fire service is ready for that product. I get emails every day of, please let me know when this product is in. So there's definitely a heightened awareness and a readiness for this product.
Yeah, absolutely. And because, honestly, your conventional shampoos, they don't work. I mean, it's that simple. Kara and I were talking before the show. She had a fire this morning, and I said, "How's your hair smell?" And she goes, "Oh, it actually smells pretty good." But and listen, I'm the same way. When I come home, take a shower, wash my hair, it's fine. But as soon as my head gets wet again, all that crap that's in your pores starts to come out, and you smell it. You usually smell it for sometimes a couple days,
Right.
And there's really nothing out there. And I think I mentioned to you that the only product that I've found that works better than your traditional shampoos is like a tea tree shampoo. And I think it's just because the damn tea tree is so strong, that it works better. It still doesn't get it completely out, but it definitely works better.
Well, I'm excited for you guys to try this. You wash your hair with this, and it's like your hair's never felt so clean in your life. Your body's never felt so clean in your life, but you're not like completely dried out either. But like, I've got this mane of hair here, and it gets to the root and the scalp and even the center. Like, it does its job, and it does it well. And it removes the toxins, and it removes the stench. I'm really excited about that product. I want to talk, make sure everybody knows that I'm not going to put out a product that's not amazing, but this shampoo and body wash it's a game changer.
So I'm curious, so you talked a little bit about, the development of the product and how do you test it? So how do you, obviously you test it by, this smells nice, right? But how's that done? How's that accomplished? How is it actually tested to say, hey, look, this is actually removing what it needs to remove? Because I'm sure that's part of the puzzle as well, right?
For sure. Okay, so there's two parts to the answer of this. One, before I went to my lab that I work with, after I did all my research, I was like, okay, great. All these scientific journals say this, but really, I'm still like, I want to know for sure. I'm not,
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So this is why I've called myself a third grade scientist, because then I did my science experiments. Like, literally on my kitchen counter, I got different types of activated charcoal, and the one way that you can see this is coconut activated charcoal has really small pore sizes, and it's really good at removing things like gases, odors, colors, right? Okay. So color is something we can see. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take the different activated charcoals, and I'm going to take food coloring. That's color. Right. And let's put it in each of them and see what happens. Sure enough, the coconut one absorbed it right away. Like, the water was clear afterwards. Mm-hmm. The other ones, the red food coloring sat there. So I actually have a video on my website on our What We Do page that shows my third grade science experiment. And when this podcast goes live, I'll post it on our Instagram that day so people can see it. Yeah, so that was my third grade science experiment to show it to myself. And then once I started working with the lab and they would send me a product, I would try it first. And once I was happy with it, then I'd send it to my brother and friends and see if they were happy with it, if it did what it said it did. Mm-hmm. Then I'd take that feedback back to the lab and go back and forth in that process until it was good. And this has been 10 months. So I started working, I got this idea about a year ago, did all my research and experiments, then started working with the lab about 10 months ago.
Wow. That's pretty wild. So, for those of you that are, considering trying the product or looking for a product such as this, you know that what goes in from the beginning right to the end. It's just not the same old soap that you're going to buy at Walmart in a fancy package marketed to the fire service. And we all know there's lots of products out there that are like that. It's, maybe they make it a little different. Maybe they make it red instead of, whatever. Right. And they put a Maltese cross on it, or they put some flame behind it and they market it to the fire service. But this is developed for the fire service, and the research that backs it up shows that it works for the fire service, which is
100%
right to know. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I believe that the reason that there's not products out there like this already is because for the general public, for someone who works in an accounting office, who likes the idea of getting rid of toxins, doesn't need to get rid of toxins like firefighters do. So this person can go to the store and buy something off the shelf that uses one type of activated charcoal, gets rid of those size, toxins, and they're never going to know the difference.
Sure.
A firefighter, I'm hoping that through use of the products, they don't ever have to know that this has benefited them because they won't have health issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about, and
Yeah.
that's what we talk about, when we're at the station. And it's been a change. Well, it's a constant change in culture when it comes to addressing the cancer concerns, because forever, how did the experienced firefighter want to look?
Right.
They want salty and dirty,
You didn't know
and
what color their helmet really was. It was all
right. You weren't, you weren't doing the job unless, your helmet on your head was all burnt up and black and your gear was dirty and nasty looking. And, now, I mean, it's been a complete 180. And it really has. It's been a complete 180 in the fire service to try and change that culture that, you get back from a run, you clean your gear, or even more now, we're deconning on the scene, scrubbing down with, soap and water and cleaning the gear and using wipes on our faces and any skin that's exposed, and, trying to combat this cancer issue.
Right. I think that one of the biggest challenges with that and the culture shift is, I think it's really twofold. First, firefighters don't like the idea. They hate, two things: change and the way things are. So that's like the biggest, the biggest challenge there. And the other thing is that focusing on wellness and health and trying to think about preventing yourself from getting sick is a prevention-based model of thought. And we as firefighters tend to have, as our personalities, a reactive-based thought model. So we see a problem, we react to it. Usually we're fairly good at reacting to it and being able to carry out a task that is reactive. It is not inherently in most firefighters' persona to be preventative. And that I think is takes a little bit of an education and some process. And I think that to create process change within your department, there has to be some accountability built in. So, for example, just, for my department, when you get back from a fire or whatever it be, you have the initial decon process, but then you're expected to get your gear right in to be cleaned, right away. And you have X amount of time for your gear to be cleaned, and it gets inspected by the officer. And if it's not, then, there's follow-up to that. And it's having the leadership of the department take it seriously and demonstrate to your firefighters that it is important, and lead by example in that regard. So, instituting a little bit of some kind of model at the station to support that preventative and wellness-based thought process can really go a long way.
And I think something that's so important too is that it's so easy. Here's kind of what I have to say to that is that prevention can be as easy as swapping out the products you're already using. I mean, are you already using shampoo? Use the right shampoo. Are you already using soap? Use the right soap. Another thing that I have coming out, which I want to mention to you guys and mention one of the reasons why I have it coming out. You're going to see me get a little uncomfortable because there's a word in here that's not my word. So I have a hand soap coming out. And it's so important, one, to keep the toxins off of your hands, because our hands go in our mouth, they go all over our bodies. But one thing that is really important is to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom, because your scrotum, the word that's not comfortable for me, is very, very absorbent. So if you wash your hands with the right products before you use the restroom, you can get the toxins off and not have to worry about it absorbing into your scrotum when you're using the restroom. I mean, that's huge. And it's a huge prevention thing and that's one of those just habits that people have to get into. I think those little things are the hurdles. But swapping out your products that you're already using with ones that work better, that remove the toxins, For me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And look, I know that there's people there, firefighters, some firefighters, not all. I'm not gonna paint this all with the same brush, but we also tend to be on the cheap side, right? So I know there's somebody that out there that's gonna go, oh well, geez, why am I gonna pay X amount of money for 1 bar of soap when I can go to Sam's Club and I can get like 12 bars of soap? So we're not saying you need to use this like every single day, especially those of us in the volunteer world, right? Mine's sitting in my shower right now. I'll use it on the days that I come home from a fire and I want to clean up and I stink. And on the other days, I'll continue to use my mass marketed and produced stuff with way too many chemicals in it, probably. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
but look, you can make it work for you is the point I'm trying to make. You're right. if that is a concern.
Yeah, you're absolutely. I mean, it smells so good. You're going to want to use it every day.
It does. No, it definitely does. And, and to your point, when we do talk about, firefighter cancers, I mean, for men, testicular cancer is one of the big problems. And,
that's right.
So if you're not concerned with that and you're a guy, you absolutely should be,
100%. That's right. Completely agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't have to use it every day. Use it just after a fire if you want to. But everything's non-toxic and naturally derived, so you can use it every day if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And again, like Kara said earlier, there is, the outside of the fire service, there is a huge push for more natural, products. And I mean, there's, because I started following you on Instagram, now, if I scroll my Instagram feed, of course, I'm inundated with other similar products, none of them going for the fire service market or doing what we're talking about, but all these other naturally derived products out there have all of a sudden found their way to my Instagram feed,
Of course.
And there's a lot of them out there that, of course, I never knew existed because it was nothing that I was looking for before.
Yeah.
Kara, did you have a thought?
I just think that it is nice to also have products that are focused on the jobs that we do. I mean, when we have things that are specifically made for that and are researched to that end, I think that that's something that is not common, and it's nice to have people looking into that for us, because I think that as firefighters, we aren't necessarily always going to do it for ourselves. So it's good to have somebody out there working for us in that regard.
Well, thank you. My deep breaths here. This is one of those things that's difficult to talk about. So my brother went into the fire service after our dad died. Our dad dropped dead at 51 from a heart attack. And I truly believe that's why my brother became a firefighter. So my brother recently had a son of his own, and I will be damned if the fire service takes him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, these things that happen to us, or unfortunately to our family members, sometimes push us in a direction to make things better. And
that's right.
Definitely something that you're doing. And it's good that that you have a family member that you can keep in mind and can inspire you to do what you're doing. And I'm sure he appreciates it. He gets to test some free stuff for you, right?
Right. I was talking to him yesterday, and I told him, I said, I'm just going to, because every once in a while he just randomly gets a box of stuff in the mail.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm just going to send it your way. I'll keep you stocked up. Don't worry.
That's awesome. So tell us, so the soap is out, right? You can, we have some, all right. And I've tried it. It works great. It smells great. I like it. I know you mentioned that the shampoo and body wash is on the way. And so one of these other products that you're working towards, when do you expect them to hit?
So shampoo and body wash formulation is finalized. I am waiting for bottles for that right now. I'm hoping to get news. I'm supposed to get news on that by end of day today as to when we'll have those. So as long as I get that and get a solid date on that, I'm hoping to start pre-sales on that next week and have that in people's hands within about a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a little ways out, but I want to at least be able to get a date out there and get working towards it.
Right, sure.
And then I imagine the hand soap will probably be next. Formulation isn't finalized on that yet, but I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I just want to make sure that the final one that gets to me, I'm happy with, that it is, that the scent in it is right, I was basically having them thicken it up just a little bit because it was a little thin. And then I'm going to send it to my brother, make sure that he's happy with it still. And that'll be next. That one, the last time he used it, he was like, not only does it work great for work, it works great for fishing too. It takes all the fish scent off.
All right. Well,
add a bonus, right? Yeah.
It takes the
Work
fish
and
scent
hobbies,
off.
why not?
Right.
It takes the fish scent off. It should definitely work for us, I would say.
Right.
That's awesome.
So that should be next. I don't have a for sure date for that yet. And then I have the leave-in conditioner coming, which will just kind of add some nourishment back into your hair after you shampoo it. And I made that as a leave-in conditioner because I know you guys aren't going to want to spend a lot of time in the shower, especially at the station. Hop out if alarm sounds, then throw some leave-in conditioner in your hair and get on the way.
Right.
Another thing was made for, but that's not finalized yet either. So I'm hesitant to put a date out there, but I'm hoping everything will be done and ready to go before the holidays.
Awesome. And you mentioned earlier, I think it was before we actually started recording, that the only thing that has actually been slowing you up a little bit during the pandemic is not the sourcing of material, it's the actual sourcing of the bottles for the product, right?
That's right. Sourcing the bottles for the product is the only thing that's been slowing me down. So hopefully that's solved now. I found some online the other day, so hopefully
Grab them up when you can, right?
Right.
Well, and it's amazing, how many things this pandemic has affected, and things that we don't typically, that we typically take for granted.
Right.
I mean, you expect, those of us in our industry and in the medical field, obviously masks and hand sanitizers and all that stuff, we've kind of gotten used to, looking for. I mean, when did you ever think that, Lysol wipes would be like a premium? Like if you could find a jug of Lysol wipes, you got to scoff them up while you can get them because they might not be gone tomorrow. It's it's just crazy that, how this has affected us in some ways.
Little side note, I worked for a large corporation that had a big problem with coronavirus at the very beginning of this. I do some contract public relations on the side. That's my background. And worked for them for a little while then. And they have doctors that work for them. And one of the doctors that work for them, we were talking to him one day, and they were telling us that the Virox and Oxivir is what is the best for killing COVID within 30 seconds. So while I was working for them away from home, I ordered hundreds of dollars in Oxivir and Virox and sent it to my mom.
There you go. Yeah.
When I was over there today, she was showing me her shelves, her cabinets of it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, look, we were walking through a store a couple weeks ago, and they were restocking the shelves, so all the products were in one of those, those cage carts that they walk through to restock with. And I saw in the bottom of the cart, like off-brand Lysol wipes. And actually hunted down one of the women, and I was like, hey, any chance I could steal a couple of those out of there? And she's like, listen, if you help me unload it, I'll sell it to you, but
Done.
yeah, I walked out of there happy, score, but
That's
it is
great.
what it is. But well, this is awesome, Tara. This has been great. It's been good. It's been great to follow your journey thus far on the product on Instagram. And I'm excited to try out the new products when they come out. Kara and I both have the soap, and
Yep.
we're excited about it. And thanks for sending that out. And we're going to keep sharing the success of staying clean and smelling fresh. Wait, I have your card here. What does your card say? Awful. Yeah, getting rid of that awful stench, right? So I'm gonna get rid of that awful stench. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about the Flame product with us. And we have a little discount code that we can offer our listeners, right? Which is cool.
Right.
So if you're listening and you want to, Tara's going to tell you where you can find the product before we can get off. But if you utilize the discount code Chief Solar, you'll get a little discount on trying the product. And
yeah, that's right. You can find the product at flamedecon.com. And that is our Instagram handle and Facebook as well. So you can find us at Flame Decon anywhere you look.
And if they have questions, you mentioned they obviously can get you through social media. I'm sure they can get you through the website. You also said that there was a 800 number on the website that you can send a message to with questions.
Yeah, feel free to DM me. You can, the 800 number on the website, you can call or text. It's textable, goes straight to my personal cell phone. So feel free to hit me up if you have any questions at all.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for coming on the show. Kara, did you have anything?
Thank you both so much for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
No,
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing for firefighters, and keep doing it because it's important work. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tara, thanks again for coming on. And don't forget, you can check out Flame Decon at Flame Decon on Instagram, and it'll link you everywhere else. I'll also have some I'll put all the links and web addresses and all that information in the show notes on the podcast too. So you'll definitely be able to find the product if you're looking for it. So Tara, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. And until the next time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.